Okay, guys, so hopefully you can hear me now. Again, I apologize for this being so unorganized. This was a last minute thing, but hopefully you all can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? And if so, we are going to get started again. Now, this is the third attempt now, but hopefully you all can hear me and see me well this time. Let's see. Okay. Vamos pues. Sí, Henry. Vamos, vamos, vamos. Henry, ¿qué tal tu español? ¿Cómo has estado con el aprendizaje, con los estudios? ¿Cómo has estado? Bien. Okay. Okay. Jalen, perfect. Okay. Good. 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 So yeah, I was just mentioning that. Um, yeah. So I'm pretty much gonna just live my life as a bilingual person. I'm really enjoying speaking Spanish, using Spanish, learning Spanish. Okay. Thank you, Munhu. Sorry. And so yeah, I'm enjoying Spanish. I do want to tell you all a couple of funny stories that have happened with Spanish lately that can serve as somewhat of a warning. But before I do that, I'm going to add Jalen, and we should be good to go. Jalen, ¿me escuchas? Can you hear me?
Sí, te escucho.
Okay, perfecto.
Okay, we ready.
We are.
Bro, I was on live on my channel for like an hour, bro. I was just like in the chat, like, yo, Mike betrayed me, bro. I'm charging him $5,000 for this.
No, I was like, you know what's crazy? I thought when, because I texted you at 1:30, I was like, he must have forgot or something must have come up. So it's just a miscommunication.
That's exactly what I was saying. I was like, you know what? He's probably like, I don't know, he's probably asleep or in
No,
traffic or something. I was like, it's cool.
no, not at all, not at all. Um, but Jalen, I know we have not formally planned anything, so this will just kind of be random. If it's cool, I want to go over. There's some things that happened to me maybe last week, like at my job.
Hmm.
I think could serve as somewhat of a lesson for people. So, Jalen, I'm sure you're familiar with this word coger in Colombian Spanish in general, which can mean like pick up. Like somebody can say, coge la vela, like pick up the candle, or
Yeah.
they can say,
I
pick up.
use I use coger, but I'm careful because like Mexicans don't use it like that. So, you
I
don't want to say like I don't know, like puedo coger la bebé or algo así, man. Like,
exactly. And I did not know that, Jalen, until last week. So I'm in my
didn't know.
talking to my students, and I told one of the students like, "Coge algo." I can't remember. Like, pick it. And this kid, they're not Colombian. Obviously, I'm not going to say where they're from, but they're not Colombian, so they don't use that word in that sense. They use it to mean you know what, you know what. And so they all just started laughing, and I'm like, "What did I say? Like, what did I say?" And they're all, they don't want to say the curse word because to them that's a curse word.
Yeah.
And so I just found that funny. What's even more ironic though is I'm so used to Colombian Spanish. The day after this, I had a meeting. I had a meeting with adults, and I did the same thing. I used the same thing. So I'm having to be a lot more careful. I'm getting comfortable with Spanish. I'm super comfortable, but I'm
Yeah.
realizing I have to be a lot more careful with my word choice because they definitely everything doesn't mean the same in every country for sure.
Definitely different. If I don't know, I could be wrong, but I think
Hmm.
that Mexicans and like people in the United States, I think they say recoger.
Uh huh. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I'm like, to me, I'm like, I guess.
Right. I even just another funny thing. Are you familiar with the app Spanish Dict, like that Spanish English dictionary?
I never use it, but I know what it is. Yeah.
Okay, so like obviously on our keyboards we don't have the N with the tilde, like N, and so I told one of the kids to type in they were trying to spell año, but like didn't know what año meant. You already know. You're ahead of me in Spanish, low key, like so. I told him I was like, just type in ANO, like, and he bursted out laughing. So those of you who don't know, ANO stands for like means anus in Spanish. It doesn't mean obviously, and so yeah, just little things that I'm picking up progressively that I'm realizing like you're a little sloppy at times with your Spanish for sure. So
That reminds me of a funny story. This is when I first started learning Spanish. I didn't make the mistake, but it's just funny how much confusion happened. So for the same reason, my friend Will in Colombia, right?
right.
So this was at a time when my Spanish wasn't really good,
Hmm.
and so he was like trying to tell me something in Spanish, but I'm like, I kind of don't know what you're saying.
Right.
So he hit the keyboard,
Mhm.
translate. He's like, I love eating diapers. And I was like, whoa, bro, like what's going on here? And he's like, oh yeah, diapers are so sweet. Like if you just go and like he's talking, and I'm like, wait, bro. Like, what are you saying? Like, are you saying diapers? And then he typed it on in the chat.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, there's no way. I'm like, all right, actually, it would be better that you tell me in Spanish. So he like because there's no did there, right? Like he was trying to say banal, but he put yeah, you know what I mean? Like instead of honeycomb, he got diaper.
Right.
And so yes, those little things can be super
Very,
fun.
very important for sure, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
So, Jenna, do you have any specific topics? I know you always have interesting topics that I listen to on your channel. So, do you have any specific topics maybe today that we can touch? They can be random, like anything from language learning just in general.
Man, I just talked for like an hour straight, bro. But if you want, we can talk about what I was just talking about on my live.
For sure.
I think Frances is up in here. She was on my live. We're talking about like freezing up and not being able to maybe say the things that you want in Spanish. And I was kind of telling her that like a lot of times like we overestimate how much we actually know. And a lot of times like if you freeze up and you can't respond to something, or if you think people are speaking too fast, like most of the time like people are not speaking fast, you just don't know what they're saying, and it sucks to admit that, but
Right.
it's just the way it is. Like pretty much no matter how fast I say something right now, you're never gonna be like, what did you say? I didn't understand that. Like you're just gonna be like, oh, I might have missed a word or something, but I get what he's saying. So if you ever find yourself being like, I have no idea what this person just said, they're speaking too fast, that's probably not the case.
Right. Definitely.
Sometimes, yeah, we just gotta kind of like humble ourselves a little bit and like kind of maybe take our comprehensible input down a level and make sure we're understanding concepts and phrases and stuff a lot better. But then also on that same note, I was telling her like it's cool when stuff like that happens, because like the more critical that you can be of your second language, it means that you've leveled up, you know more. In the beginning, like you're just happy to be speaking, you don't even know you're making mistakes, you're like, yo, I just had a conversation. And then you get to that like upper beginner intermediate, and like you just see everything is wrong. You're just like, yo, I don't know how to say anything correctly. The more mistakes I find in my Spanish, I'm like happy about it. I'm like, I'm leveling up, you know what I mean?
What's something that you think even to this day you have to maybe use a lot of mental energy for, or you find yourself making mistakes with? Because I would say you're in an advanced level. So what would you say?
I would say, like, sorry, I don't know grammar terms, but like the past subjunctive. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm saying like, he told me to tell you. Sometimes I gotta think real hard for a second, because if I like, if I'm saying in the present, it's super easy. It's like, ¿qué quiere que yo diga? I'll go see, right? But in the past, I'm like, hold on a second, like, I need to say, like, dijera. I need to like think about it a little bit. Or like, again, I don't know the grammatical term for this, but like, if I'm saying, oh, like, if you would have come, like, si hubieras venido, si hubieses venido, venido, and then, well, it's not really that part, it's the second part. Si hubiese venido, this would have happened. I always have to think real hard, like, hold on a second, let me think how I want to say this. But I mean, like, that's kind of like English too. Like the more complex the sentence gets, the more you kind of have to like, hold on, let me make sure I'm communicating this effectively, so you know what I'm actually trying to tell you.
Right. Does it still the proper use? When I say proper use, I'm not talking about its placement, but I'm just saying which of the two, like lo and la. Like for example, when lo and la represent the word it, do you still find yourself having to think sometimes like, is this lo or la because of the object being masculine or feminine, or does that kind of just come to you now?
That's tough. I think there's something that I struggle more with than that, but I will answer your question first. I think I don't think about that much because a lot of times you can get away with saying low
You can.
because you're just saying it in
Right,
general. You're not talking about this specific thing.
right.
But actually, as simple as it is, like direct object type stuff,
Mhm, mhm.
every once in a while I just get thrown off. I'm like, should I say la or should I say leg? Like I don't really know. I
Right.
just kind of just throw it out there. And if it's so bad that the person corrects me, I'll be like, okay, now I know. But
Uh-huh.
most of the time it's like the same thing. You can kind of get away with it because they don't like there's a reference that makes it la or le, and they
Mhm.
don't know if you're saying directly this person
Right.
or this. So yeah.
Okay. And
Hey, Carlos Crazy, what's up, bro?
¿qué más, Carlos? ¿Cómo te va? I can't. I'm gonna see if I can pull up another screen. I can't see all of the comments, but um,
Oh, you want me to read them to you? I got my laptop over here. Which what do you remember the last thing you saw?
one I saw was from Carlos, where he said "Saludos, muchachos." Is that the last one?
Oh yeah, that's the last one.
Okay. All right. Jalen, I don't know if well, I've talked to you about this. You probably are the only person that has seen me flip flop back and forth in my Swahili journey. Not probably, you are. You are kind of like my language learning rock in that. But I mentioned earlier, when I was telling them we were waiting to start up, that Jalen, I've quit learning Swahili again. I have. And the reason, the reason why is this. I know I can learn Swahili. Like I know I can. There's nothing in me that tells me like I may not be able to learn Swahili. I know I can. So at this point, it's just a matter of do I want to. Also, I'm rambling. That's the first point. It's like, do I want to take all that time? It takes time. It takes a lot of time to learn another
Mhm.
language. Do I want to do that? Immerse myself so much in that, risk my Spanish suffering a little bit? Because even though you and I both speak Spanish very well, I still know that if I take a year off of not interacting with Spanish like I do now, oh yeah, it's gonna suffer. It may not be horrible, but it's going to suffer, and I won't be as like natural with it. The other problem, and it seems like a little minor problem, is like in Kenya, which is the country that I primarily wanted to and still want to visit. Almost everybody speaks English, unless I'm in like a rural village. Almost everybody speaks English, and so
Yeah.
that takes away from the motivation also because it's not like a need per se. It's a luxury, a great luxury to have, but it's not necessarily a need if I want to visit there versus me going to Colombia and other places. So how's your progress? What do you think about that in general? And then how's your progress been with Portuguese?
Well, it's funny that you say that because like when we were texting,
Uh-huh.
like you brought that up, you're like, oh, we could talk about your Portuguese or whatever, and I'm like, I'm kind of not doing it right now. So I kind of had the same problem, and I did a live like maybe a week or two ago where I talked about this. For one, like you said, when I started Spanish, like I legit felt like I couldn't do it. So it was something that I like really wanted to overcome, right? Like there was a big motivation behind that. And then on top of that, my barber speaks Spanish. I have Will that speaks Spanish. That's like he's like a champion weightlifter. And I'm like, man, I want to get knowledge from this guy, but I can't even get it because I don't speak Spanish.
Right.
And so there's all these people in my life that speak Spanish, which made it more important to me, right?
Mhm.
And I started this Portuguese journey, and I'm like, bro, I don't know anyone that speaks Portuguese. Like, I literally don't know a single person. So the only thing I can really do is go out of my way to try to meet someone that speaks Portuguese. But like you said, it's kind of a hassle,
Mhm.
and I would be taken away from my Spanish. So kind of in the same place. I've been consuming like some beginner Portuguese stuff whenever it like pops up in the algorithm, but I haven't put any serious energy into it. So
Yeah,
that's
it's understandable. I think like I respect the whole polyglot world of like just learning languages for fun. Again, I can empathize with it. I understand it. But just as a priority in my life right now, just being a polyglot in these fourth, fifth, third, sixth, maybe you're gonna have more time, yeah, but right now I just don't have the time to invest in it properly like I would like to. Also, I was reading a just because it was interesting to me. I was reading because part of me learning another language too was like the health benefits. And I know that sounds weird, but like the mental cognitive health benefits. And I was reading about whether or not there are diminishing returns on learning third, fourth, fifth, sixth languages. And there are. Like there are a lot of studies that show that there's not much of a difference in terms of cognitive gain for someone that's bilingual versus someone that's trilingual? I know it seems like there would be, but there's like diminishing returns with that. And so that's another thing that made me think like, is it that
Yeah.
worth it with all the things going on? So
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me too, man, and I've noticed this in Spanish.
mhm.
Like, I mean, I guess it's English and Spanish. Like, I just don't have great conversations with people that I don't know, and so
All right.
like I like talking about very personal stuff. It doesn't have to be like complex words, but I like deep conversations. So yeah, I always found it hard to speak Spanish to people like randomly in the street and stuff. I'm just like, I don't know this dude, bro. Like, I don't want to just like be asking him personal questions about his life and stuff.
Exactly.
So, like I said, I have deep connections with people that speak Spanish, that prefer to speak in Spanish. So it's real easy for me, you know.
Right.
Whenever someone doesn't prefer to speak in Spanish, or if it's their second language or something, it's super easy to default to English.
Mhm.
Even like the Puerto Rican soldiers that I train, like
Mhm.
we'll start the day off, we'll say like three sentences in Spanish, and like they're native Spanish speakers, but we just end up speaking English. Like
Right.
that's just how it goes. So
Right.
it's just better to speak to people that don't speak any English.
Agree. Agree. Okay, I'm going to respond to some of these comments, and of course, feel free to jump in. Most Anglophone Africa speaks English. I come from Zimbabwe. By age 5, before starting formal school, I was already fluent in English. Like most kids in Zimbabwe, it's tricky for learners. Yeah, Muhu, that's just what I've noticed on the African continent, along with the many native languages that are there. Most people, again, not in every country, but the countries that I have a desire to visit, like Kenya, like Ghana, those places, they speak English. And even many of the Asian countries that I might want to visit someday, I think the English proficiency level is high enough because I think people in those countries, especially in Asia, know that their languages are so difficult to learn that they do develop some kind of basic English. Eric, do you feel the same way communicating in Spanish as you do in English, or at times do you prefer to convey an idea in one of the two languages because it can be received? Because it can be received better? I think you meant there. Jalen, what do you think about that one? Do you feel the same way communicating in Spanish and English?
There's times for both languages that I feel like I need to speak in the other language.
Hmm.
So it's not that like I don't have like sufficient Spanish sometimes. It's just like maybe it's a concept that I learned in English that means more to me in English, or even like okay, like for instance, I tweeted something in English the other day, but I just put one word in Spanish because so like this part of your hair
Hmm.
like that like starts balding.
Hmm.
We don't have a word for that in English. Like you just say like, oh, like your hair is going back, your hairline's going back. But in Spanish, you can say entradas. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So I was like, damn, we don't have a word for that in English. Like that's crazy. And so sometimes it just makes more sense to say something in the other language, maybe because it's shorter or because like it's like directly describing the event, like a cocotazo or
Hmm.
like something like that. Like we don't have a word for that in English.
Right.
Like say putting your knuckle in someone's head. Like
All
it's
right. You're
just
teaching me, Jalen. Please teach me because I don't know any of these.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like yeah. Sometimes, like I said, just one word describes the whole situation, and it might not exist in the other language. Like
Right. Right.
matter of fact, last night I was talking to Will, and I couldn't think. I was thinking, and I'm like, is there a word for slur in Spanish? Like, do you know? Is there a word for slur?
Like slur your words, right?
No, no, no. Sorry, like a racial slur. Like
Oh, no. The only thing I would translate it to is una palabra despectativa. Like,
that's and that's what I said too. And I was like, hold on a second. I'm like, and I was asking him. I described it and everything, and he's like, nah, like I mean, like insulto. But I'm
right,
like, nah, that's not the same thing as a
right,
slur.
right.
And so the whole conversation, we're speaking in Spanish, and I kept saying slur,
Uh,
slur, slur. I'm like, I don't want to describe it in Spanish because it don't have the same gravity. Like a slur
mhm.
is heavy. It's something that like you don't say
Right,
about other people, and even that he didn't know until yesterday that we say the N word. I was like, yeah, you can't say that here, bro.
right, right, right,
Like, news broadcast or something. He's like, you can't just say it, and I'm like, nah, bro. Like you have
right,
to. Say it.
right.
Like
Exactly.
so. Yeah, just sometimes it makes more sense to do it
And I
another.
do agree. Yeah, I don't even have anything to add. I agree with everything there. It's just in certain languages there are better ways to describe things, and so I agree. I do the same thing. Carlos, no escuché esa parte bien, pero sigues aprendiendo Swahili. Carlos, no, les decía que, pues, por todo el trabajo que uno necesita hacer para aprender otro idioma, yo me di cuenta que no valdrá la pena, la verdad. Entonces, sí. Y también, Carlos, yo entiendo que yo sí soy capaz de aprender otro idioma. O sea, entonces, cuando empecé a aprender español, no sabía si era capaz de aprender otro idioma. Ahora que sé que sí lo puedo hacer, o sea, no tengo ganas de dedicarle tanto tiempo a ese proceso otra vez. Perdón, nada más disfrutar español un poco más, visitar más a tu país, construir, como Jalen decía, enfocarme en las relaciones que tengo ya con el español y que sean más profundas y que sean más fuertes. Es lo que voy a hacer en lugar de siempre estar buscando otro idioma para aprender y otra cultura. No, estoy contento, la verdad. Yo me gusta el hecho de que soy bilingüe y ya eso es todo. Estoy feliz. Jalen, tienes una pregunta ahí de Carlos. ¿A qué te gustaría hacer con el idioma español? English or Spanish, either one you can respond. Carlos.
¿Dónde viste eso?
After Carlos,
Oh,
232.
oh, because it says Tampa. I skipped over it. I didn't even see it. No, no sé, bro. Me gusta hablar, bro. Me gusta. Oh, my battery. No sé, me gusta trabajar con las bodies, bro. Los bodies. Los soldados, bro. Entonces, si puedo hacer eso, si puedo hacer mi trabajo, todo bien.
Bueno. Mac, is Mike still learning Swahili? No, Mac, I'm not. I mentioned that in the beginning of the video a few times. Just check that out and you'll hear why. Hopefully it's logical. Hopefully it makes sense. Swahili, yep, Shona. Okay, Jalen, I have a couple of questions for you. I know we're not going to be on here super long since we both started late a little bit. But I don't know if you suffered from this, and I didn't really see it much on your channel. But when I first started learning Spanish, like I had the the and what's the word in English? What's the phase in a relationship when like everything's perfect? What's that called? The honeymoon phase. I had like the honeymoon phase,
Mhm.
and I was just like, I can't. I gotta live out. I have to live out of the United States. Everything outside of the United States is better, or what just and it almost me da no like I want to think it's Spanish. Like it cringes me to even say that, like to think that I was thinking this, but I fell into that trap of like, oh, I found something new, everything must be better. I'm curious to know because I haven't really seen you talk about this. Did you fall into that trap? And I don't know if you would even consider it a trap, but that those beliefs, did you have those?
I think it could be considered a trap
Mhm.
if you romanticize it and you think like you said, everything is better
Right,
there.
right.
Some things probably are better depending on your values and like what you care about.
Mhm.
But this is a this is a great country, man. We got a lot of problems, but this is a great country,
Talk about it. Yep.
and there's a lot of stuff that let me use the right word. There's a lot of stuff that's convenient here
Mhm.
that doesn't happen in other countries, and it's not like a big deal, but like I said, it's convenient. Like, bro, as much I don't want to like get into like politics,
Okay.
but I know people hate Amazon and Jeff Bezos and all that
Uh-huh,
stuff. But
uh-huh.
like, I ordered something yesterday and it came on the same day. That's insane, bro. Like,
Yeah.
it's insane.
Yeah.
Depending on where you're at, bro, you might order something and you might pay all this stuff to get it as quick as possible, and it still might take a week. You know what
Right,
I mean? Like
right, right.
here, if I really need something, bro, like if I like twist my ankle or something, I could get an ankle brace shipped from another state same day. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
Hot water. A lot of places don't have hot water.
mhm,
You know what I mean? There's a lot of good stuff in other countries. A lot of other countries, the work days are short. People care about their family more. Blah blah
mhm,
blah. But I definitely kind of fell into that trap before.
mhm.
I don't even know if it had so much to do with Spanish though. It was more just like
Uh-huh.
more just I want to get out of here and
Mhm.
you read about other places like, oh, their healthcare is better and this is better.
Mhm.
But like I said, you read something else, you're like, oh, I didn't know about that. Like
Exactly.
that's kind of crazy.
Exactly.
It's even levels of corruption, um, the corruption being more direct, maybe. Like obviously there's corruption here,
You're right.
but in some other places, like I don't want to say any specific places because I don't want to piss anybody off, but they might just be like, oh yeah, if the cops ask you for this amount of money, just give it to them. And I'm like, what do you mean just give it to them,
Right.
bro? Like
Right.
that's crazy. That's
Right.
insane. But that's just how it is in some places. Like, it's how it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely, and it piggybacks off of the point that Casino made. Mike, are you trying to live outside of the country? To be honest, Casino, I don't see that right now. And not like, that's not a, like, there's no secondary meaning behind that. It's just like, I don't have a desire to right now. Again, visiting, and even Casino, I mentioned this before, just being some kind of like vagabond person that travels all around the world. That's not me. I like to have my social circle. I like to have I like to be able to know that today, Casino, I can call four people in this city and I can go play tennis with them. I can go play golf with them. I can go, and I think me personally, knowing my personality with me being introverted, it would be much more difficult to recreate that in another country, even though I do speak Spanish. And so, yeah, I'm okay. Again, visiting, sure. Spending months there, sure, when I have the opportunity. But living outside of the country right now, I don't see it. Not that I'm against it or for it. I just don't see it in my future right now, like in this moment. And to piggyback off of Jalen's point, I fell into that trap as well a little bit. Especially with the point about like certain privileges that are offered in other countries that we don't have access to here. For example, free healthcare. I used to always be like, "Oh my gosh, that's amazing," until I talked to someone in a country where they have free healthcare, and she told me she needed to get an invasive surgery. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, an invasive surgery, but it would be something that would be considered outpatient here in the United States. It's not super like demanding, and there was a wait list of a year and a half for that operation. That's not necessarily life threatening, but very physically inconveniencing. Like it's inconveniencing her physically.
Yeah.
You can't get it done because there's a wait list of a year and a half because healthcare is not privatized. And again, not making a political statement, just bringing the pros and cons of everything to the forefront. And we don't hear about those things. And so, yeah, I agree with you. It's with time and when you really understand the language more and you speak to people, you're like, okay, for the most part, people in themselves are the same everywhere to an extent. And then, like you said, there are a lot of privileges that we don't realize we have here. And so, yeah,
Mhm.
I agree. I agree. Jalen, we've got about. I'm gonna ask you to give me about 3 more minutes if you have them.
Bro, I got all the time in the world, bro.
Okay. If you all have any questions, any comments, Tempo y Mike, cuando regrese a vivir a Colombia, están invitados para que se recorramos lugares chéveres. Eso suena como un sueño para mí, Carlos. Carlos, tú sabes, me acuerdo que me dijiste una vez que estás planeando a volver y a vivir en Medellín, ¿cierto? Entonces, ¿eso todavía es el plan o están pensando en mudarse a otra parte del país? También, Carlos, felicidades, felicidades otra vez. Pero cuéntame, ¿qué están pensando en hacer?
Oh, I just saw this question. ¿Dónde vives? Vivo en Washington, el estado, Washington.
Mhm.
Mi pantalla está congelada.
All right, guys, if we don't have any other questions, again, we just wanted to hop on quickly and give you all an update. It should have been a lot longer, but like I said, I'm not super technologically
You got somewhere to go?
yeah, I'm gonna go and play tennis. Nothing crazy, but go play tennis
How's tennis going, man?
it's great. I am realizing that it's a finesse sport for sure. I guess I should have learned that earlier on, but now that I've gotten better, I'm realizing like to really make the shots I want to make, it's super finesse. But yeah, yeah.
Do
Um,
you what did you is there anything like physically, like as far as like being physically demanding, is there anything that you like weren't expecting about it?
that's a good question. Not really. It's just no, not really. No, no,
So
no,
there's nothing that you like couldn't do. There
no.
wasn't. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
I mean,
'Cause
it's just. Go ahead.
oh, go ahead, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's just the finesse of like the technique, but like physically, like demanding, like maybe stabilizer muscles that I had not used or something like that. No, not at all. No.
I was just gonna say I just remember someone was talking one time and they were like, "Yeah, people don't know how like demanding tennis is. Like it tears your knees up and blah blah blah." And I was like, "Really, tennis?" But then I was thinking about how much cutting there is back and forth, and I was like,
Right,
"I can see that. I can see
right,
that."
right. Yeah, yeah. It
But
is. It
but
is. Lateral speed is necessary, but it's not too bad. Um,
you
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 got a
consider
question there?
yourself athletic?
I wouldn't say crazy athletic, but I'm like, I kind of don't like to say something like that. Like, yeah, I'm athletic. Like, I don't know, but yeah, I mean,
Why, bro? Why?
I grew. I don't know. I don't know. But I grew up playing sports. Yes, yes. And so,
This guy is too humble,
not
bro.
even like, but like, if I call myself athletic, who did I watch yesterday? What's the dude for the Seahawks that can jump like DK Metcalf? Like, I
Man,
view him as
don't
athletic.
tell me you think that video was real, bro. Don't tell me that.
Oh, you saw it where he was like, yeah,
Man, that shit is not real. Now, don't get me wrong. He's a freak athlete for
right.
sure, but I don't believe that video is real.
Right, right. So like that's why I was hesitant to say like yeah, I'm athletic. I view that guy as athletic. I view like some I can't dunk. Like I can touch the rim, but I can't even dunk a basketball. So like I don't think I'm 5'9", I think 5'10". So yeah, I don't consider myself athletic, but I can play sports. Yeah. Mhm.
That's fair. I mean, I think I get it. I get it. I grew up with like crazy.
Right.
So like, it's hard for me to like if someone tells me I'm strong or fast or whatever. I'm like, bro, like Robert Griffin, RG3, like lived in my city, like was my rival high school, like
Really?
yeah. So when you see people like that do stuff, you're just like, oh, that's what like a real like
Right,
elite
right.
athlete is. So
I would at least give you this, though, Jalen. I would hope you feel comfortable saying that you're at least strong. You're an Olympic powerlifter. Like you don't consider yourself strong at that point. That would be somebody being unnecessarily humble.
nah, because I could say the same thing about you, but it's just like you said, when you know the levels up,
Right, right, right.
it makes you more hesitant to say that you're good at something. So like I said, my friend Will,
Hmm.
like he won the Pan American Championships multiple times. Like if he didn't mess up his knees, like he would have went to the Olympics.
Hmm.
So it's like knowing the weights that he lifted and the stuff that people in Colombia right now do.
Hmm.
It's like, can I really call myself strong? Like if some like 18-year-old kid can do the same stuff as me.
Right. Right, right, right. Understood. Jalen, I
But
have a question for you after these comments. I have a question for you that's not related to this at all, but it's about weightlifting though.
okay, yeah.
Um, Casino, what's next for the next channel? Casino, unfortunately, this may be my last video. To be honest, I'm not going to be consistently uploading anymore because again, me uploading YouTube videos was not with the intention of becoming a YouTuber. I know it sounds idiotic. It's like, dude, you have 14,000 subscribers. Like, why would you stop uploading videos? But that
Don't
was
let the people down, man. Don't let the people down,
But
bro.
what would I be letting them down with though? Like if the channel is there, I think it serves as a good time capsule for anybody coming. Because Jalen, also think about this: the people that you watched when you first started learning Spanish, you don't watch those channels anymore. You're now onto native Spanish speaking content. You know what I mean? You're not really watching these people
For
that we learned Spanish from now. I don't know. What do you think?
I agree. Like actually, that's how my live this morning started.
Mhm.
Somebody was asking me for Spanish podcast, and I was like, I don't remember their names, bro.
Right.
Like, but check this out though. You can progress your content with
Okay.
your Spanish. Like I don't know if you've seen like the little series that I started making. I started making a little TikTok series where like I present like facts, like little known facts in Spanish and stuff like that. So like yeah, I have my beginner stuff from when I first started on my channel, but like I'm just probably not gonna make content like that anymore because there's so much of it and I already did it.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
now it's just gonna be more of me talking about stuff I would already talk about in
Yeah.
Spanish. And so
Okay.
if someone has been following me the whole time, then they would just move along with me. So I feel like you could do the same thing. Like if you made, I don't know, if you just talked about fucking tennis in Spanish, I would watch it just to like hear about it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? That will
Right.
also give me or anyone else a chance to work on their comprehension and learn some new words and stuff. So
Mhm. I'll consider it. Makes sense. It does
and
make sense.
you're like, I'll consider it. You're like, I'm not doing that shit.
I mean,
Those
it's not bad.
things.
I don't really again that might goes back to the point that we were making is like I would feel like I don't know, I can't really articulate it. Okay, let me read these comments and then I want to ask you a question really quick. Uh Sam, ¿qué más? ¿Qué más? ¿Cómo van las cosas ahí en Europa? ¿Cómo estás? Espero que estés muy bien. Y yo he visto que tu canal se ha vuelto una locura. Estás casi famoso ahí en the Netherlands. No sé cómo se dice the Netherlands en español, pero um, thank you, Casino. I appreciate it. JB, K Mas. JB, I know you don't understand that, but K Mas. No Swahili and the channel is done. Okay, encantado. Muchas gracias. Your content is broader than just beginner Spanish. Nikki, I appreciate it. But again, I'm not saying I'm done for sure, but I just need some kind of motivation to get some kind of new ideas. If I can find new ideas, like I have one idea that I might do, but we'll see. We'll see.
You know what? I'm gonna have to just be like your. I'm gonna have to be like your content manager, bro. I'm gonna have to like send you a text and be like, "Yo, this is the video I want to see this week." Maybe
Please,
that's
because
what
this
we
would
got to
not have happened if you hadn't texted me. So this channel would have been dead, like dead, dead.
do. Maybe that's what we got to do then. Maybe, yeah. I'll stay on top of it. I'll make sure you make some videos.
You know, it's crazy. There are maybe 3 or 4. I'm not gonna say of my most popular videos, but videos that have been very popular that you either recommended to me in the comments or recommended me to do, in another form. So, or me watch. I'm gonna be honest. I've taken some ideas from your videos also. Like watching your videos, I'm like, oh, that's a good point. Like I need.
Bro, I always steal people's ideas. Carlos made a video like, what is it? He makes like useful
Uh-huh.
expressions. I saw that. I was like, yo, I'm about to steal this. That's a crazy good idea.
Right. Okay, let me ask you this question. So, Jalen, do you know who Russell Orhe is? Russell Orhe?
Yeah, he's from Texas too.
So I watch Russell Orhe. I like that world, like the weightlifting world, and more so than bodybuilding, like powerlifting. I like watching it.
Mhm.
But and again, this might be an illogical connection. And again, those of you that are here for Spanish content, I apologize that we're going on a tangent, but I just have to ask him this because he's an expert in this field, or he's informed in this field. When I see Russell Orhe lift, the first thing that I think is that, oh man, this looks cool now. This looks great. But I want Russell to somehow like be more delicate with his body because I don't want him to turn into what's the dude's name? Ronnie Coleman. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I fear that heavy lifting at young age can have long-term effects on his body in the future. That might be the perspective of somebody that doesn't even know what they're talking about because I'm not in that world. So what's your professional opinion on that whole thing?
That's a tough one. So whenever you're doing something, and it's not even just sports, whenever you're doing anything at a high level, kind of like you talked about with Spanish, like it takes a lot of your time. It takes a lot of sacrifices. You could be doing other stuff, but you're choosing to do that thing, right? And I will die on the hill that sports are not healthy. They're not supposed to be. It's supposed to be, oh yeah, definitely not. That's why I like, yeah, that's even another conversation. But people are like, oh, well, you shouldn't be able to take this, and other because it's not healthy. And I'm like, bro, like you said, putting 800 pounds on your back, it's not healthy. It's totally different. So I don't think he's going to end up like Ronnie Coleman because Ronnie Coleman went against his body. He had injuries, he had surgeries, and he chose to keep going, right? And so you know the risk when you do that. Russell, to my knowledge, hasn't had anything serious happen to his body. And so, yeah, just lifting heavy is not enough to do that to you. But yeah, if you have serious problems and you try to push through it, or like you're just like, I know what's gonna happen and I'll do it anyways. In fact, if you want to watch like a really good like short documentary, I'm gonna have to send you the link because I don't know what it's called, but it's on YouTube. Oscar Figueroa, he's from Colombia. He went to the Olympics 4 times, bro. And he won the Olympics on his 4th time, like pretty old for a weightlifter. But he had to make some serious decisions. So the first time, like he went, and he was super young. He was like 17 or 18, got a medal, or maybe he didn't get a medal, whatever. Second time, like he had some kind of nerve thing going on, and he literally just couldn't keep his hands on the bar. It would just like fly out of his hands.
Wait, so he decided to compete with that issue.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So that's already the first thing.
Okay.
The third time, I don't know if it happened in between the second and the third or what, but he messed up his back so bad that like the doctor was like, bro, like you might not be able to walk if you keep lifting. And he's like, I got to get my gold medal, bro. So he has a back surgery, goes to the Olympics. He doesn't win. He gets silver. He's already old. He's been to the Olympics 3 times. That already took 12 years in itself.
Right.
Gets another surgery because the pain is back, and he's like saying he can't feel his arm. Gets the surgery, goes to the Olympics again, wins it on the fourth time. It's a crazy emotional story. Like seeing him win and all the tears and stuff is super cool.
Mm-hmm.
But like, there's no way that like he didn't mess something up very badly. You know what I mean? But that's like you already dedicated 20 years of your life to it. You're like, bro, I want this gold medal. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay, so your body will tell like that. Those cases like Ronnie Coleman are not standard. That is somebody that is intentionally going against what their body has told them for years, decades, even, and that's
Yeah.
how you like that. Okay.
Yeah, and I don't even know. I don't know if he was aware of the consequences it would have, but it definitely wasn't something that just like hit him out of nowhere. Like, oh, my back messed up. It's like continuing to pound yourself to the ground.
Gotcha. Okay. Adis, I appreciate that. He covered me. That's why I do have a video about the language exchanges, but I can make another one. I have not been doing them as often because I now work a little bit on Saturdays, but I can definitely get that done. Have you guys considered getting tested in Spanish? Something like the Delhi B2 C1 examination. You can chart your journey, I'm assuming, through studying it for it, and can give you learners taking that path. Good tips. Jalen, have you taken one of those tests before?
I've literally never had any desire to take one of those tests.
We're the same. I haven't either. I don't know what it would do for me. Like, I don't know what it would do for me. I can communicate and speak in Spanish. Like, I'm fine.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I remember I did an online one just because. So when I started like taking Spanish seriously,
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to know where I was at, so I needed to know like what to focus on. So I took one of those, and it said like I was like B1 or something. This was like in 2020 or 2019 or something,
Mm-hmm.
and that was like just based off of, like high school Spanish.
Right.
So that was the last time I ever took one. Like I would be actually interested to know what it would put me at, because like we kind of talked about earlier, there's like some little stuff that I'd be struggling with.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can have like a full conversation about something complex, but I might just be like, La Pojo, or like, you know what I mean? Like, and so I would be interested to see what it would put me at.
Right.
But I don't actually care that much.
Right. Diploma de Español como lengua extranjera. At our school, you can pass exams right here at the school. These exams run at 6 levels. Okay. Munhu, are you in high school, college? What are you referring to there?
But yeah, I mean, I've seen that stuff a lot. Like I know a lot of people. I guess it's a credibility thing, right? I could get on here and be like, "Yeah, I have full conversation in Spanish." People are like, "How do we know?" Like you could just be saying that. But like that's why I put videos on my page.
Right.
Every time, bro. You know how many videos I've seen where they're like, "How I got fluent in Spanish in 1 year," and I go to their page, but I can't find one video. I'm like, "You didn't even speak in Spanish in this video, bro. Like, how do we know?" Like.
And what's crazy, sometimes the ones what's even crazier to me is like the ones that say that, and then they do have a video where they speak Spanish. You're like, oh, you're lying. Like you speak horribly. You do not really. You're saying basic to learn. Like
I don't. That has happened a lot of times, bro. And I'm not a mean spirited person. Like if I'm not gonna say anything, and I don't even know if they know that they don't speak that well. But like, bro, sometimes I don't even feel comfortable saying that I speak well. I'm just like, if someone asks me, can I speak Spanish? I'm like, it depends on what you say to me. Yeah, like I can have a conversation. And then I talk to them and they be like, bro, what? Like you can speak. I'm like, well, I don't want to like put myself up here and you be like, bro, you're not all that.
Exactly.
So yeah, sometimes I think they just might not know that they're not that good.
Good point.
Yeah, I don't want to say anything too specific because I don't want to like start some YouTube beef or something. But if someone I'm subscribed to make a video about himself being fluent, and like someone commented and they're just like, bro, like you're messing up this, like you don't know like how to conjugate haber. Like I wouldn't say that you're fluent. And then he's just replying like, well, fluent is like relative and blah blah. And I'm like, nah, bro, like some stuff is like, this is like so basic. You don't even have an idea of the concept. And like the big thing to me was that he couldn't use like the subjunctive at all, really. And I was just like, you're not fluent, bro. I don't care like how much vocab you know. If you can't communicate in the subjunctive, you definitely don't have a handle of the language at all.
You don't. Yeah. Do you don't have to tell me who this person is, but is this like a very popular YouTuber or just a random guy?
No. He's not super popular, but I would say he's on his way up. Like he makes a lot of content, like daily content.
Mhm.
And I'm not gonna lie, like I said, I'm subscribed to him. I watch his videos.
Mhm.
I think the content that he makes is actually pretty good. He does like kind of like what we're doing. He does lives, interviews, and stuff like that. I like him. He seems like a cool dude. I just think he thinks his Spanish is better than it is.
When we finish, can you text me his name?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, curious to check it out.
Give us a hint so we won't follow him. Nah. I don't want to like take away his subscribers. I don't want to like. This is not a negative thing. This is just like I said. I think he makes good content. I actually think his beginner content is good. I just think he thinks his level is higher than it is.
Jalen, can I get you to say his name? Go ahead and say his name.
No. Like I said, I like him, bro.
Okay.
I've joined his not like this, but I've been on his live while he's talking. I've like corrected some stuff that he said, like, and he takes it well. He receives it well. But yeah, just like I said, I think he thinks his level is higher than this. But that's why, like, bro, me, you'll never hear me say what level I'm at. I just talk. I don't care what level you think I'm at. I don't care what level I'm at. I was just like, bro, like if you ask me a question, I'm gonna respond. If you want me to say something, I'll try to say it. But I'm not about to say that like, oh yeah, I've been fluent for this long or I've got to the highest level there is. I'm just like, bro, I just have conversations with people. That's it.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not answering no more questions. These comments, they know too much, bro. Yeah,
we can leave that one alone.
Yeah, we gotta leave that alone, bro.
I've been watching you for 2 years and finally took the plunge. I'm almost finished with the Lingota sprint and bought your book. Byron, thank you for that, and let me know what you think of the book. Somebody else earlier said that it's helping them, and that's all I was asking for. Hopefully, that's the reason I wrote it, rather, is so that it could help you also. I appreciate that.
I missed this question about casino. It says, how long did it take for your guests to become fluent in Spanish? So again, like I said, I'm not going to put the title fluent on myself. But what I will say is that I think at about 1.5 years, that was the point where I felt like I could talk to anybody. I felt like at a year, because I went to Puerto Rico after a year, and I had some conversations, but sometimes I'll be like, damn, they going, bro. I don't know what they're saying, bro. I'm kind of lost. But like 1.5 years, like if I would be in a barber shop and my barber would be like, yo, like I want you to meet this guy. We'll talk, have a conversation, and I didn't feel like I was trying. I felt like I was meeting a person. So I would say then, and then like by the time I got to like 2 years, I would say like I even now like sometimes I'm like, this is kind of fast paced, or I wasn't prepared for this question, so I'm having to think a lot. But like I'd say like since 1.5 years, I've never been in a position where I was just like, I don't know how to answer this question or something like that. Like I can talk my way like kind of through anything.
Right. And I agree with Jalen right there. It's just I'm not just saying this because he and I know each other. My timing was about the same. I think my timing was about the same. After about 1.5 years is when I felt like, again, like he said, not comfortable with everything, but like I'm going to understand what the person's telling me. If they're speaking to me in Spanish. Byron, I see that you said that Spanish speakers speak so dang fast. Jalen mentioned earlier that yes, that is true, but that is a sign to you that you need to work on your listening skills. And if you want, you can go back and listen to the playback of this because Jalen walked through why that happened perfectly. I think you had a great explanation of that.
Dog, these comments.
What happened?
Oh God, I just followed.
Where? Oh, I just followed him. Mac, who is it, Mac? Who is it?
No.
I'm joking.
Don't do it. This is not a gossip live. Like we're just here for educational purposes.
I'll delete the comment.
I don't want to start problems with nobody.
Right. Understood. I live in Madrid right now, and I still find they'll talk so fast I can understand. Nikki, you know what's crazy? Recently, you would think like the Dominican accent or the Cuban accent would be the most difficult one, but to me, recently, the most difficult one to understand has been the Spanish accent from Spain. Like when they use their own slang and they speak with a sound. It's like
Bro,
it's weird to
I've
me.
been saying that from day one, bro. Like when
Really?
sometimes I watch like I never do it on purpose because I don't really like that accent. But sometimes I watch content from Spain and I'm just like, this is a basic conversation, but I'm kind of struggling, bro. Like,
Yeah.
like you said, the kind of lisp thing and like
Yeah.
titty plus and all the other kind of stuff, the slang they use, bro. I'm like, it's kind of tough, bro.
It's tough, and there's like a little bounce that's not like the Caribbean bounce. It's just different. It's just different. It's just ear training, but I agree, it's different.
Yeah.
Jorge, hola Jorge, ¿cómo estás tú? Estoy muy bien. ¿Cómo estás tú? I just got back from Spain, and the accent is hard to pick up. Sí, ZH, ¿cómo te fue ahí? O sea, he escuchado buenas cosas y malas cosas. Entonces, estaba tu estancia ahí? It takes a while to get used to it in the accent. I want to learn to speak Guatemalan Spanish, but there are no books for it because they speak. Jalen, what would you say to that? I would say if somebody can understand Mexican Spanish, I think they'll be fine with Guatemalan. Obviously, some different words, but if they understand the Mexicans, I think they'll be okay.
I will say this.
Mm-hmm.
My wife's family is from Guatemala.
Oh, okay.
And I think something that people might not know is like a lot of them, like they use El Voceo. So they speak with Vos.
Yeah.
I was going to say, so like if they're here, like all of my wife's siblings kind of have like a Mexican accent because they grew up in the United States. But her parents, like they talk with Vos and it's not Mexican.
Okay.
So like you just have to find content creators from Guatemala. You're gonna have to do some deep searching probably, but I mean I can look for you if you want.
Yeah. All right, Jalen, what do you think? We end it here?
That says, can we hear you speak Spanish? ¿Qué quiere que yo diga?
Él habla español muy bien. Ya hemos hecho una entrevista, entonces, ¿por qué no vieron esa entrevista?
Yeah, actually, yeah, we did it. We did it one.
Español.
Channel. I got a bunch of videos on there, but I mean, like, if you want me to say something right here, I can.
And Jalen, I don't know if it's the same for you, but like when people hear that you speak Spanish and they're like, say something. It's like, what do you want me to say? Like, you can't say something. I can tell you anything. Like, what do you want me to say? Yeah.
That's exactly how I felt when I read that. That's why I'm like, what do you want me to say, bro?
Right. Well, no problem. We're not picking on you in particular, but
no. Like I said, it's all love here. Yeah, like I said, if you go to what that interview was on my channel, right?
Your channel, yeah.
Yeah, just type in Mike Ben Quick Tempo. It'll probably pop up. We did an interview in Spanish. It was in Spanish and English, actually. We did it half and half. But I have a bunch of Spanish content on my page, too. I mean, like I said, if you really want me to say something right here, I will. But, like, we're kind of talking in English, so. Yeah. I have a funny phrase ready to say at all times. So, like, what?
Yeah, I don't know any, like, I don't know any just quick off the top, funny phrases, but I'm sure there are some.
Yeah. Like, usually I just say cuss words. If you say very specific cuss words, people are like, you could have only learned that from talking. Like, all Puerto Rican, like very specific cuss words, like huelebicho, rascabicho, like stuff like that. It's just like, oh yeah, you didn't learn that from like the internet, probably.
Right. I don't know those. Give me a synonym for those in another form of Spanish.
Okay.
Not in English.
Do you know what bicho means?
No. Okay,
so. And can I cuss on here?
Sure.
Nah, that means no. Okay, so.
like that's like that was me pretty much taking the accountability. Like, yeah, go ahead, but yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Okay, bicho is. Wait, can I cuss in Spanish?
That's what I want you to do. Yeah, that'd be better. Yeah.
Okay, bicho es verga.
Okay, yeah.
Pero los boricuas dicen bicho.
Okay.
Entonces, mama bicho es.
Ya entendí.
O huele bicho.
Ya entendí.
Bicho.
Ya. Okay.
They're all based on that, though.
Okay.
Don't do it for the sake of your channel. Nah, that's why I didn't want to. That's why I asked, bro. That's why I'm like, nah, I don't want to like ruin the family vibe here. You know what I'm saying?
Like, at least we're both aware of the environment.
Bro, one time, I'm just who I am. You know what I mean? Like I will filter myself for your channel, but on my channel, I'm just gonna do what what I do.
Of course.
One time, this person commented on my channel and just like, "Hey, can you stop cussing? Because like I want to watch your videos, but you cuss too much."
Mhm.
And I was just like, "I'd like thank you for your feedback, but I'm just not gonna stop. Like
Right.
I like being comfortable and authentic on my own time. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm on your stuff right now, so I would never like disrespect your space. You know what I mean? But for me, I'm like, bro, you want me to just not cuss on all my videos for you because you're uncomfortable with my cussing?
Right.
And I'm sure that affects my audience. I'm sure people are like, well, I'm not gonna send this video to nobody because this
I
dude
think
just like
most
a
people,
cuss.
I would hope most people are like you know what I mean, not that dead set on the minutia. But as you obviously know, there are people like that, unfortunately. So
Yeah, no, for sure, I get it. I mean, like I said, I know how to be like professional. I gotta like work, and I don't cut, so it's not that big of a deal.
right.
But
You should try to get super good at the Colombian accent and show us that journey, Mike. Nikki, I can do it, but you know what it does? And when I try to like imitate, I can do that. I can do that. But when I try to imitate, for example, a certain Colombian accent, I just feel inauthentic. Like I just feel like I don't know. I don't know. And I'm not saying to an extent because to an extent I do mimic them. But like if I go full like or full Caribbean, I mean coastal Colombian Spanish, I just feel like it's just out of I don't know. It could be me overthinking it. I just feel more comfortable just speaking normally. I don't know.
nah, I definitely feel that because it almost feels like you're mocking them, like if you do
Yeah.
that. Yeah, but you know what though? If I'm around, if I'm around a certain group of people that talk a certain way, it doesn't feel like that. It only feels like if I did it right now, I'll be like, man, why am I talking like that?
Right.
If I'm like talking to Puerto Ricans, like they just say I sound like them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or if I talk to Will, he just says I sound like him. But it's just like you kind of just like match the vibe of like what's happening.
That's it. If I'm with someone and I can tell, like, oh yeah, they'd be cool if I put it on a little bit, like, then I'll say me sale. It's like it just comes out, like, but it's not like I go around consciously like, okay, I'm gonna say, eso fue muy maluco, marica, o sea, como así. No, I'm not going to. Like,
Pretty good though.
I'm not going to. Like, I can imitate it, but I'm just not going to. It's just, nah, como así, cuenta. No. It feels weird.
Argentinian Spanish. I love Argentinian Spanish. They kind of got some racism going on out there, but I love their accents. And I'll be watching their shows. Vos sos un pelotudo. Like they speak like Italians that are speaking Spanish. Like
it's real like fine. It's muy fino. Suena bien. Okay, Jalen. I appreciate this.
I was about to say, bro, my phone's on 1%, so if the screen just goes black, my phone died.
Every hand movement you did like this, I'm like, 20%, 10%, down. Yeah. So I appreciate you motivating me to get this live up. Hopefully those of you that have seen the video or that come back and see it later understand why I haven't been as active as I was before. Jenna, I appreciate it. Do you have any other things you want to say?
Nah, bro, I appreciate you. And like maybe we'll just do stuff like this. Maybe every once in a while hop on live. Maybe next time we'll do it all in Spanish instead of English or something.
That works. Pues, gracias a todos y nos vamos la próxima. Chao.
Okay, chao.